you have kids, you invest so much of yourself in them, and they are, like, in a lot of ways your pride and joy, and there's just a weirdness that transpires in most of the relationships, and at some point, like, typically it kind of starts in middle school, and they to create themselves, they need to shut you out, because maybe for the first, like, 9-10 years of their life, you're kind of like everything. You're the hero, you're the dude, and everything revolves kind of around you. And then they kind of get into that middle school category, and they, things start happening on their end, and they start going through things, and then they're not comfortable sharing. And so you have this just weird gap of time, like through middle school and high school and whatever, that you can't, like, really communicate about stuff that's like, what you want to be able to say is, dude, I've done this. Like, I've already been there. Just give me a good story. Like, what's going on? Like, I can laugh. I enjoy laughing. I come on this show and talk about crazy shit. Like, why can't I talk about your crazy shit? Yeah. It's just so weird. It's very frustrating. That's one of the worst parts about being a parent. Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I coach basketball. I coach, like, high school basketball. I coach pro-am basketball now. And at this point, my kids are the same age as some of the guys I coach. And, I mean, I can sit down with, like, Tucker, and he'll tell me the funniest fucking stories, and, like, no problem. Yeah. My own kids never come close to that level of candor. And it's so frustrating, because it's like, dude, you're like me. Like, just be okay. Yeah. And it's just really annoying. It's not that. Yeah.
Did you have that relationship with your mom? Like, your mom, like, can you tell her and talk about anything?
I was getting plowed the other night.
Oh, my God.
You're asking me if I can talk to my Haitian mother.
Yeah. Or do you?
About
have you ever?
Anything. Absolutely not. No, there's conversations that we did have about things that I really didn't think we would, like in high school relationships. I had a boyfriend in high school. I didn't even think she would even let me have one, but she met his family and all this other stuff, so it was okay.
I would say,
was he Haitian?
No.
To what you're saying, though, I can't speak for every parent, obviously, but I think, like, parents that care about their kid, like, they're okay by knowing stuff. Yeah. They feel weirder being left out. Yeah. Than they do.
That's absolutely true. 100%.
And that's big. Yeah. That's big. I mean, if I was ever in a position again, like, maybe if I'm like, my kids have kids and, like, whatever, I'm still alive, I would be like, if I had the chance, I would tell them. I'd say, like, don't be weird with your parents. Yeah. You're going to want to at some point, but don't. Because as I felt this before, it's just going to create a weird divide that's very hard to overcome.
How do you let your kids know that they can tell you anything?
It's very hard. You can't. Like, it's just, it's just very difficult, because to me it really kind of starts in the middle school, where they just start to push away, and they just kind of get you. It goes into, like, the cone of silence, and it just, like,
you know what my dad did?
What's that?
He told me he just tells me all his crazy stories over and over and over and over.
I was gonna say,
all his crazy sex stories. Man, when I was your age, I was fucking every goddamn. Man, you was not. Why you ain't fucking your sister friend yet? I fucked all my sister friends. Man,
no, but dude, that's a real thing. Like, so one of the things you can try to do is put yourself out there and say, I did this or that or the other thing. The other thing you can use is like your friends, like your college friends, your whatever, and they can kind of be your voice, and I actually did that with one of my good college roommates. It wasn't even about, like, the crazy story stuff, but, like, he came into town, and I took my twins, we went to dinner, and I just let him kind of just talk about his life experience and whatever, and it was like, it just was a different voice. They didn't really want to hear from me at that point, but, and in the telling of that, like, they kind of see a different side of me, and I think you can use, like, I mean, I kind of like, kind of like advocate voices, and you just try different stuff to do that. You stay open, you kind of circle back at different points when you feel like there's a good bit of rapport, and stuff like that. It's kind of a never-ending thing to cultivate a relationship like that, but you just end up trying different things. Like, you put stuff about yourself out there. You might use, kind of other people that can kind of say stuff that you want to say. And you just hope that you're at some point it kind of clicks, you know. And I've had like there's been like funky breakthrough conversations with my kids at different times, and where it's like, you know, actually with my oldest son Camden, we went to the movies a couple weeks ago, and afterwards I went to his house and was helping him like do weed whacking, which was actually kind of fun. But we ended up talking, and we were just talking about some different stuff from the past, and like it was going well, and then I was like, you know, kind of I just explained myself, like I was like, hey, you know, when you thought that this was going on, like here's what my mindset was. I don't know what you were thinking it was. And then he would say like, yeah, I was actually kind of worried about that because I thought you would react this way or that way. And I'm like, don't. Like, understand that this is where I'm coming from. I'm going to be consistent on this. And, you know, and that was it. It was really felt like a great conversation. Oh. But again, you know, he's 25. That could happen at 13, and maybe the 12 years would be different. Yeah. You know, so it's really a challenge, man. And it's a lot of times it's just super frustrating. It is. It's funny. Like one of Bryson's good college friends, he's been by the house a bunch, and like he made the comment. He goes, "Yeah, you guys really don't get to see the Bryson that we do." And I was like, it hit me. It was like, you're right. I know it. You're confirming what I know. Yeah, but it's that, you know, he's like, you know, and he's, you know, just different, you know. And then the crazy thing was, like, about a month later, he was getting interviewed in a local magazine in South Florida, and he was kind of telling his story in terms of photography and videography. And he mentioned Bryson as like somebody that he's drawn motivation for, and the way that he described him, felt really proud as a parent. But it was a really cool thing because it was like, yeah, that's what I would want him to be, and he's apparently that, at least to this guy. Exactly. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.